Hello everyone, welcome to Java Creations. In this video, I am going to show you how to create a REST web service using Spring Boot. So let's start our Spring Tool Suite first. Fine. Now in this session, I'm not just going to develop a very simple kind of web service just to show that okay, this is a way that we develop a web service in Spring Boot. In fact, I'm going to have a meaningful functionality in this web service. Like through this web service, I'm going to implement actually CRUD operations on employee table in my MySQL database. And for this purpose, I'm in fact going to use now ORM JPA actually. And that's why I'm going to integrate my Spring Data JPA into this, and that's in fact an add-on. Actually, you would even come to know how to use basically JPA also in the projects. So let's move forward. So this is the employee table. This is my employee table in MySQL, and this is actually workbench of MySQL. And this tool I guess you should install and do, because it's difficult in the command prompt always to do. So this is my table emp, and this is the data. Okay, already I have feeded data, but we feed more through the service. Okay, so this is all about what are we going to do. Functionality is that we're going to do operations on employee table. Let's begin. It would be more clear when I'm going to develop. Here we create a new Spring Starter project. So this is like already, I can mention the name as emp REST API, any appropriate name which you can give as com.emp, and we go next. And here I need to just use these three dependencies. One is Spring Web, Spring Data JPA, and MySQL driver. Again go next and finish. This is the application class. Okay, now let's move forward. I'm going to make first of all entity class, and for that I'm going to make a package, entity package, com.emp.entity. So new package com dot, and in this I'm going to create a entity class employee. Okay, now it's a Java class, so I will add the entity annotation. And then I will map this class to the table in the backend. I will use table annotation and name equal to emp. This is the table name in the backend, MySQL backend. Already I showed you the table also. So this is how we are there with the entity class. Okay, now I'm going to create my properties. First I will create the ID property. So this is my employee ID. Okay, then other properties I'm going to create quickly. Yes, private string, my employee name, and name I can create. Then department, which again I will create as integer. Okay, and last but not the least, salary. Then I can create as double. Okay, and let me remove this. Fine, we are done with the properties, and let me now put some. Let me add on this. I'm going to put getter and setters. So yeah, select all and create. And even if you want, like, we're done with the getter setters. Okay, here it is. Our entity class is ready. Okay, so now next we are going to create the repository. So I'm going to create a new package for this, com.emp repository. Okay, and in this actually we are going to create an interface, not class. Okay, so I'm going to name the interface as emp repository. Okay, and we are going to add a JPA repository interface in this. It is going to implement JPA repository interface. Okay, here we go, and add the annotation repository. Okay, next is this. I am going to add my entity class, and this is the basically data type of the ID property, that is integer data type, that is our employee ID. Okay, so here it is. So now in this case we can even put external methods, but as of now it's not required. So it is going to take JPA repository methods only. So okay, so we are ready with this repository. So now we have this entity class and then repository. So all we have. So now next we will create the service. For that I am going to create the package .emp.service. Okay, first I am going to create a service interface, and after that I will create the implementation class. This employee service. Okay, so okay, here it is added. Now here in this we are going to make the method declarations for our various operations on the employee table. For searching all the employees, like listing all the employees, and then searching employee by a particular ID, then adding an employee, and then updating an employee, and then deleting an employee by a particular ID. So let's start the declaration. And first, like I can go for the listing of employee method declaration. This is like the return type is going to be list. Name as all employees. Next is I'm going to create for searching an employee method for searching the employee by a particular ID. Okay, so return type would be employee, and here is the method name appropriate that I'm going to give. Employee by ID, and I'm going to pass integer ID. pass an ID in this, which is of type integer, and next I'm going to create the declaration of method of adding an employee, and I want to take the return type as string. Just give information that it is saved or like something, just giving the information that the employee is saved. So let me write, and here is employee. I'm going to pass as a parameter, and with it, next is I can make for the update. Okay, string update employee. So this is again employee. I have to pass this employee object as parameter. Next is I want to delete. I want to create a declaration for the method for deleting an employee. Okay. Again, for that I can take string md as a return type to give information that it's deleted, whatever. So delete employee, by ID. Okay, let's see again. I have to pass the ID. This is of type integer. So I am done with all the declarations. Okay, this interface is ready. Now I'm going to create a implementation class for this interface, employee service interface. So for that, first I'm going to create the package in which I have to create the class. The package is form dot service dot impl. Okay, so here we go, finish, and now inside we are going to create a class. Okay, this is employee service impl. Okay, and I'm going to add the interface. I'm going to implement this interface in this. So here we are there with the implementation class of the service interface. Okay, and here we can define the body of all these methods, implemented methods. Since it is dependent on repository, so I am going to do auto wiring. Like this. So here it is. I am going to add the code for this method to list all the employees. What all this find all method, and simply we are going to return this emp list. That's all in this code I have done, you can see. And now we can add the code for searching an employee by a particular ID. Okay, and what it is going to return is basically the employee object. So let me write down the code. The use for this is this optional ID. This method you can see, and which ID is going to be passed as a parameter for which you want to search the employee. Optional object is a container object which is going to contain our employee object. So first we have to check that it is going to contain or not. If it is containing, then we are going to return our employee object. If not, then we are going to return null. Okay, so just check dot, this is present method. If it is true, then it is going to return the employee object. So equal to opt dot get, this is going to get us the employee object. Okay, and I'm going to return this employee. Okay, and if this is false, then I'm going to return null. Done. So we have reached till this point. We are going to add the code for adding a new employee. So let's do that. So for this we are passing the employee object which we want to add in. So first we are going to check that if it exists or not. Basically, if it exists, we are going to return one message that is already existing. If it's not existing, we're going to add in and return one message that employee added. Okay, so here I'm going to employee dot get emp ID. If it exists, then we will return the message. Employee already exists. Okay, this is done. Else it not exists, and we're going to use the save method. So repository dot save. Can you see this? Save method, and I'm going to save what my employee, and after that I'm going to return the message as employee saved. Now next is update employee. It's very much same code like saving an employee, and if the employee exists, then we can update. If it doesn't exist, we can't update. Okay, just reverse of the conditions. So I can take down this code. See, okay, just here I'm going to add dot, there is save and flush method. You can use that, and we can pass this employee as the parameter, and we can return a message employee updated. Okay, and in else case we can remove this condition, and we can just write employee doesn't exist. That's it. So we are done with the update method. Now last is for delete employee. So there is direct delete by ID method, so I can just directly use that. Employee repository dot this delete by ID. I can directly use this to delete, but in case if we want to check it is existing or not, if existing then only we will delete. Okay, so in that case I am going to use my if condition again here. This is like by ID. For this particular ID I am going to use this, and then here it is. Then only you will delete and we will return the message. Employee deleted. Else employee doesn't exist. So that's it. We are done by this code. Next I'm going to create the REST controller. REST controller is going to call the operations in the service layer. So let me first create the package com dot m dot controller package com dot m dot controller. And then REST controller class employee REST controller. Now first I'm going to put the annotation the rate REST controller. So okay, and now as I told you, it is basically going to call the service layer operations, that it is going to call the service layer. So in now it is dependent on the service, so we are going to do the auto wiring. So at the rate auto wired employee service, and I'm going to create this normal service object. Okay, this is done. This is done. So we are done till this point. Now before proceeding, I just want to explain you some point. Actually through this handler function, we just don't want to return the body, just not the data, that is the employee list of employee object, but we even want along with that our HTTP status code. So fine, if we want to have HTTP status code and even the headers along with the response body, then we have to use response entity object. Okay, but as of now in this case I'm going to return only two things only: my employee list, that is data, that is a body, as well as and my HTTP status code. Let me write down the handler function. This is public, and now its return type is going to be response entity. And it is going to be my response entity of list of employees, list of employee objects. Okay, so I am going to make like this: list, again employees, like this, and this is the return type, and I will write down the function. So I can mention like this: get all employees, function name. Okay, some appropriate name. So it's just, I'm going to my keyboard is creating bit issue, so please excuse me for that. So now it's fine. So now these are red lines. I'm going to do this just coming because we have to import the packages for these respective things like classes orientation. So this is like would import get mapping in this, and this is response.entity, import this response entity Spring Framework.html. Now first let me get my list of all employees. So let's do that code. This is list, the generic, and we have to pass this employee, and then I'm going to write down the variable name as emp list equal to, now the basic thing which I told you, that this is going to call, this REST controller calls the service operation. So now here we need to call the service method to get the employees. So service dot, as you've seen, this method comes up all employees. These methods already we have created. Okay, so to call like this, and so now the list is ready, and now let me return the response entity object. Okay, this is return new okay. And now I'm going to pass the parameters. So it will have 3 parameters, like my data, that is the employee list, then the HTTP status code, and the headers. As of now I'm going to pass only 2, my employee list and second is the HTTP status code. Dot. Okay, so here it is. Okay, done. This HTTP status code is basically a enum, and it is having the constants, and this OK constant is for status code 202, that is accepted. Okay, so we are done till this point. Okay, now let's write down the code for next endpoint, that is to basically get a particular employee for a particular ID. So again it's so @ get mapping only. It's like the value I'm going to pass in is as /employee slash curly braces id. This id is basically a path variable. So whenever in my basically URL I want to pass any value, so I can pass with the path variable. Okay, so now next I'm going to write down the code. Public, the return type is employee, as we are returning one employee object, and you can just write down appropriate name, get employee by id. So this is some appropriate name I have given, and now in this I am basically sending my id as a path variable for which I want to get the employee. Okay, so now this id which I'm passing this id which I'm passing this as a path variable, I want to bind this with my method parameter. So in as to inject my path variable to my method parameter, I'm going to use an annotation path variable. This is like path variable, and I will just pass as integer and like this. I'm going to write down like this @path variable integer id. Now in this case actually my path variable is basically the path variable name and the method parameter name is both same, this id. So I not need to separately pass my path variable name as a value for this annotation path variable. So directly I can write like this to short my code also. Okay, so I can write down my code here now. This is return service dot this one search employee by id. So and this id, which this is being passed as the parameter for which we want to return that particular employee. So this is just one line code. Okay, and we're done with this. Now next we move on to a next endpoint, that is to add an employee. Okay, so that is that for that it is post mapping. Okay, so this is the rate post mapping. Okay, and then the value I can just write down like this is as add employee. That's it. Write down now as our handler function. That is, now you can see this is public and return type string, because I just want to return one message that it is added or it is already there, so we can't add. So this is public string, and appropriate name we can give like this, add employee. Okay, and my key is not working actually for this. So yeah, right. So now as you can see it's post mapping. So whenever the client basically requests this endpoint, it has to pass its data, that is the employee object, in the request body. And now to basically bind that employee object in the request body with the method parameter, we have request body annotation. So request body annotation basically binds our employee object in the request body with the method parameter, which is going to be an employee object. So for further clarity, let me write down the code. Just request body. Okay, and this is employee. Okay, so here it is, we're done with this, and this is how it is more clear basically. Okay, And one thing more, like basically the data that I told, that's the employee object, in the request body which is coming is by default in JSON format, and this request body annotation deserializes into a what? Into a Java object, and that's why that is being again passed on into the binded with or injected into the method parameter, that is this employee basically. Okay, so now I can just write down the code which is going to give a more clarity. I can write down now this return service dot this function, as you see already built up, which is basically consuming a employee object which is going to be added. Okay, so this is all. So now next endpoint we have for updating the employee. So it is put mapping. We can keep update is like appropriate date employee in the value. And now let's write the handler function. This is public string update employee. Now actually when the client is going to call this endpoint, it is going to pass the employee object that is to be updated in the request body. So means that the employee, that object which needs to be updated, is going to be passed in the client request in the request body. So now to basically bind the employee object in the request body with the method parameter, we have @request body annotation, as I told in add employee endpoint also. So we're just going to write down the similar code as we wrote there. So this is request body and this annotation request body employee and employee. Okay, so now write down the code. Return service dot this, you can see update employee method. Okay, and it's consuming the employee which is being passed in the request body. Okay, and this basically employee gets updated, this employee object. Okay, so we done with this. Okay, now next move on to the next endpoint for deleting the employee. In that case, the HTTP method type is delete. So we have annotation delete mapping. Okay, this is delete mapping, and say the value we have as /delete employee. Okay, and now with this we have basically a path variable ID that we are going to pass in the curly braces. That's ID. It's like same that we did in basically when we were searching an employee for a particular ID. So here also we have, since we have to delete the particular employee of having particular ID, so in that case we are going to pass the ID as a path variable. Now let's write down the code for the handler function. This is again going to return me the string message, some like appropriate message is deleted or doesn't exist, whatever. So this is delete employee, some appropriate name of this method. Okay, and then now actually just little bit I'm going to tell you. Actually same like in this case of when we were searching the employee by a particular ID, we are using @path variable annotation to bind basically our path variable value with the method parameter. Okay, so same here, we are going to use the @path variable annotation to bind the path variable value with the method parameter. So okay, let's use it, @path variable integer id. Okay, so now okay, now I can write down my code here. Service dot delete employee by id. Here this id is being passed as the parameter, and the employee of this particular id is going to be deleted. Okay, so here we are done with the delete endpoint. Also, these are now all endpoints we have for, let me save, for getting all the endpoint to get all the employees, then getting an employee of a particular id, then adding an employee, updating an employee, and deleting the employee. We are done with all the endpoints. So now let's move ahead. Okay, now I have to open my application properties file and do some add-ins in that. So basically my application properties file is to add basically information like the server port number and then the application context path. So let me copy it from here. Okay, you can see these all add-in settings. This is server port number, and this is application context path. It is given like employee service. Application context path is basically the path through which you are going to access the application, and this is the settings like for the my MySQL database. This is driver and this URL and username, password. Okay, and here I just like to a little bit tell that this is DDL auto property which set as update this JPA for, and actually first time when the table is created is not there, then we can put it as create, but after that we can make it as update only if the table is existing. Okay, so that's all in this, and now we can basically move forward. Okay, now we can test this REST web service. Now 3 of the endpoints we can test from the browser itself, which are of HTTP method type get, as browser can access the endpoints which have HTTP method get, and the other endpoints, and like if you want to test all the endpoints, then we have a tool that is Postman. Okay, and first let me test the 3 of the endpoints which are of type get from the browser and show you that. As I already told you that the endpoints having the HTTP request type get can be tested directly at the browser. So these 2 endpoints above 2 which are having the HTTP method type get can be tested at the browser itself. So one is for displaying all the employees, and the second is to displaying a particular employee with a particular ID. So let's test it at browser. So first let me start the server, and let me start the application. Okay, so it is my application. I'm going to start this. So now you can observe the port is 2121 and the context path is employee service. Okay, now I can test it at my browser. So I can write localhost colon 2121 slash, this is employee service, this is my context path, and so let's so this is the output of this endpoint, that is all employees, for displaying the list of all the employees in our backend table, emp table, that is this table, you can see. Okay, and this is listing in form of objects, and by default it is in JSON format. So all these employees are the data is basically in employee objects, and by default that is JSON format. Okay, so now let's move to the next endpoint, that is listing a particular employee for a particular ID, and for that the URL pattern is employee hash. The path variable that I have to give is the ID itself, for which I want to display the employee, the object. Okay, so suppose I can give it as 105, and so this is the output, that is the employee object of this particular ID 105, and this is also by default in JSON format. Okay, so as you can see in the your pattern or the endpoint, this path variable is the ID for which we want to get the employee. Okay, and by default it is an employee object, and by default it is an employee object. So output is an employee object, and by default in JSON format. Okay, so other endpoints, my post mapping, put mapping, delete mapping, and to say all others, like I can test and at my tool, that is Postman tool, and that you can easily download from internet. So I do have that in my machine, so I can basically open that and show you here. This is kind of a Postman tool. So definitely I will tell you a little bit brief, and this is used for testing the basically all endpoints you can test. And see, already I have this, so I can test my one of the endpoints. That was the first one. You have to just type the URL over here. Okay, http :/ localhost and :2121 / my REST endpoint and / my first the context path, and then after the REST end. Okay, this is the endpoints, this is get, this is post, put, delete. Okay, so now I have put it as, this is the URL, whole URL that I have put. Okay, and this is the method type get that I have put, and this is here I have to click send, means I'm sending the request basically. Okay, I click this, and now here you will get the output. So when I'm doing it practically, automatically you will get an idea. Okay, so no need for me to say so much about it. You watch, you will, by observing it, you will get it. So this is all the employee objects in form of the JSON format, that is by default. Okay, and now we can test the next one, that is the displaying an employee for a particular ID. So employee / my path variable, I can put it this time as test for 105 this time, method type get, URL, and then send. So here you can find out this is for employee ID 105. Now I can basically test my endpoint for inserting an employee. Okay, but before inserting, let me do it for deletion. Maybe that can be more easily get to you. Let's suppose now I want to delete an employee. So first I'm going to write down here the URL pattern, or suppose like if it's delete, first of all let me take it as delete. Okay, you select it as delete. This is the method type, and now you can see the URL pattern. This is delete employee, and we can go here, we can put it like this, and then let me now send this request, delete request. So it has printed a message, employee deleted, because as you remember the return type of this was as a string, a message that we wanted to print, it's deleted. Okay, so we can even test that by again displaying all the employees. Okay, I selected get and then on employees, okay, and then send. Now you can observe carefully, we won't be having the 109 over here. So fine, and an endpoint that is for adding an employee. Okay, first of all I have to mention this as post. Okay, and then I have to write down the URL pattern, and one thing more, I have to basically first let me put the URL pattern, like let's come on to one point and then next we can do more things in that. Okay, now in the body, actually this is now as I told you, I will explain you one by one everything. So over here when you choose something, you have to choose like this, like this part, like you see this body I have to select, and over here I have to basically enter I have to send the employee object in form of a JSON object. I'm going to do that's by default, and which I want to add, the new add-in I want to make. So let me copy paste little over here, we will edit it of course. So I have copy paste, and now whatever changes you want to do, let's make changes in employee ID and only the employee name. Let the salary and department be same. So let's see, like we don't do any row repetitions. Okay, fine, it's like okay, we can enter a new one, that is that is 112. Okay, now let me post this. Okay, so everything is ready, the method type post, the URL, endpoint, and we are going to send the request. So, and yeah, let me edit the name also by 112, let's suppose, and send. Employee saved. Okay, great. Now let me check in all employees, or let me even, I can do anything, I can even check for that for particular employee also of this. I will tell you more on this. So first let's see in the whole list, it is being listed. You can see yeah, this 112 is added. One other way if I can do it is like this, employee and slash, I can pass it as a param variable 112. Okay, this is the one. Okay, sent, I have found. So 112. So now, so let's do it some for update. Okay, now let me do some update. Okay, that is method type put. Okay, and URL pattern, I can take it down from here. It is success update employee, and same things you have to do. You see in the request body again I have to pass the employee. Okay, so again I have to take this body. Okay, now let's suppose okay, let's edit the same 112 only. Let me edit this one. Let's make it make the department as 19. Okay, and let's do some changes. Let's change this 66 to 99, some hike. Now let's send this request. Okay, and we can observe the changes of course. So now I'm going to send, and employee updated. That's great. So, and let's check also from our end, that updated information. So I can just do the get and use the endpoint for displaying only one employee for that particular ID. I can put this as 112 parameter, and I can send it. So okay, so you can see it has displayed the output in JSON format, and you can see the output is and even when we were sending the updated object, we were sending in a JSON format by default, and we have got the output also in JSON format. So now here we have tested all the endpoints for displaying all employees, getting a particular employee of a particular ID, deleting an employee, adding an employee, updating an employee. I can develop a client application, of course, and that is going to be in my next part of this session, or you can say that is I'm going to give in my next video. Okay, thank you so much.